Being very entitled and controlling, narcissists have no difficulty stepping all over your personal boundaries. So that's why I put together an extensive video class called This Is Me. It has 25 videos, written documents, guided questions. I'm going to teach you how to have healthy boundaries. There's a link below, and I hope you'll find it to be quite therapeutic. I know that many of you, as you've encountered that narcissistic individual or the system or lots of individuals who think that way, can feel like you have a target on you. It's like narcissists are kind of sizing you up, trying to figure out how they can get an inside edge on you. And so they try to figure out, how can I strike? How can I come against you in such a way that diminishes you and elevates me? Now, there are many ingredients that go into the pattern of narcissism. They have a lot of high control and they feel superior. They have low empathy and they're manipulative. But I suppose if there was one characteristic, at least for me, that tells me if an individual has truly stepped into the full-blown pattern of narcissism, it's the characteristic of exploitation. When an individual decides, I am very willing to take advantage of someone else's good nature and then use that to my advantage, that's what we refer to as exploitation. That's when you know that it's more than just a casual slip up where sometimes they're too controlling and sometimes they're less than sensitive. No, they're in it all the way. They're willing to use you and diminish you and build themselves up in a false kind of way. With that narcissistic individual, they're thinking the most important thing for me is to maintain control over you. They like to align themselves then with people and circumstances where they can be the one who's powerful and dominant. And they desperately need someone that I'm going to just call an ego feeder. Feed me, feed me. Narcissists are looking for supply, and they're looking for individuals that they think are going to be willing to go along with their program so that they can stay in charge. Now, what can happen, and this is insidious when you think about it, is narcissists will actually pick up on your strengths. Now, sometimes they'll pick up on your weaknesses too, but they like to pick up on your strengths and think, well, if I see some very positive characteristics in you, I'm going to be able to turn that to my advantage. I'm going to run through several of the typical strengths that they actually are drawn towards, and I want you to be aware of this because the more aware you are of their scheme, the scheming way of thinking, then the more you can come up with your balancing act on the backside. For example, let's take the characteristic of kindness or just being friendly. And I'm hoping that that's something you think, yeah, I like being known as that kind of person. The narcissist can watch you in your kind and friendly engagements with others and think, oh, well, probably going along with that kindness and friendliness is an appeasement attitude as well. And if I can get you to be kind and friendly towards me, then that means you're just kind of going to go along with me in a really kind of pleasant way, and I'll make you my enabler. That's how they can think towards that. It's a twisted way. Or let's take a second cousin of that. Let's suppose you're the kind of person that likes to offer encouragement. So you're just a naturally encouraging person. You like to let people know what you see that's good and right, and you accentuate the positive, and they're thinking, oh, okay, so a naturally optimistic person, someone who likes to see things go well. Well, I can play that game. And so what they do is they'll think, well, what I'll do is I'll flatter you. They may intuitively understand that encouraging people like to be encouragement. That's the language you like to speak. It's like, yeah, I'll speak that language to you. So they can be flattering and they can say upbeat things about you and try to find things that are right and good. All the while they're thinking, okay, that means I'm now on the inside and I can begin to work my schemes with you. It's kind of sad when you realize that that's what's going on. Or another thing, let's suppose that you're the kind of person that truly seeks to accept individuals right where they are. You have an open heart, you have a caring spirit, and you don't feel the need to try to fit other individuals into a particular mold before you then offer acceptance, which isn't acceptance at all. And so the narcissist can watch you in that regard and they can think, I see. So you're a natural servant. You like to be, let other individuals know that you're safe. Good. I want you to do that with me too. And so they're thinking, well, if you're a naturally accepting person, I'm hoping that's going to translate into you overlooking the flaws that I bring in. And so because they desperately dislike critics, and so if you're not a critical person, it's like, oh, good, this is going to work out really well for me. And they're hoping that you're going to be the natural, the kind of person that just can naturally say, well, I'll just take you for whatever you bring with you. In addition, let's suppose that you are also known in a positive way as being reliable and trustworthy and responsible. So the narcissist can watch you in that regard, and there's a target even there. And they can think, okay, Mr. or Mrs. Reliability, good. That means you have a sense of duty, you have a sense of honor. And so I'll talk with you about what I think are the rules or the regulations and how things are supposed to be. And they can go into, well, I think it needs to be this way, it needs to be that way. And they're hoping, okay, I'm going to get them at the place where they feel like they're kind of bound to do the right thing because, they think that way. And so I'm just going to see if I can kind of nudge them in that kind of direction. And wouldn't you know it, the shoulds and oughts that come along with that tend to be self-serving for the narcissist. Or another one, and this is a big one. Now, you know that I've talked about needing to respect another person's freedom to choose. And so let's suppose you're the kind of person that thinks that way. You don't want to be overbearing. It's like, I respect the fact that you want to decide for yourself who you're going to be. And the narcissist is thinking, oh, I just hit the jackpot. Because they're thinking, this means that you're not going to be nitpicking me or you're not going to be trying to tie me down. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to remind you, hey, I get to be me. Remember, that's how you think. And so they want to make that something that works on their behalf. And then another one, and this is a really big one. Let's suppose that you're the kind of person that doesn't want to hold grudges. You're willing to forgive. You're willing to sit down and say, how might we learn from this? The narcissist thinks, oh, I've got several free passes maybe that I can learn how to pick up on. And so they're thinking, well, if I have anything questionable that I'm doing, then we're just going to appeal to, can't you just forgive me? Hoping you're going to say, well, yeah, I guess I will whenever you have really messed up things really bad. Or another thing. Let's suppose that you're the kind of person that likes to think things through with a spiritual mindset. In other words, you like to have a sense of meaning, a sense of transcendence. There's something bigger than me going on. What does that mean and how does that plug in? A narcissist can think, well, I can play that game too. And so they might try to talk about things that they know are important to you, whether it's about God or whether it's about having a sense of meaning and what it is that gives you purpose. And it's like, oh, yeah, I'll talk that way all day long. Of course, the undertow is, but my ultimate God is control. And so that's what I'm going after. But we won't have to talk about that right now. And so they like to get on that page with you and in doing so, get an inside track on that regard. Or let's suppose even that you're an analytical thinker. You know that one of the things that's most necessary for a growing individual is being the kind of person that says, I like to break things down and try to figure out my whys and then go based on what I determine there. The narcissist thinks, sure, I can play that game. And so they'll get in and they'll say, well, tell me why you do this and let's understand why you do that. All the while they're gathering data against you, and then they're going to eventually use that against you. Now, I've run through several of the positive characteristics that you can have, and I know that it can feel rather cynical when you think, well, the narcissist is watching you and observing these positive characteristics with that exploitive, manipulative mindset intact. And it's like, do they really think that way? And again, I go back, yeah, that's the number one ingredient that I watch for that tells me if a person is fully invested in their narcissistic pattern. They're willing to exploit you. In their mind, their end game is you will become subject to me, or you're going to learn how desirable I am, and then you're going to be impressed with me, which is then going to allow me to be the one who's in the control position. That's how it works. To a narcissist, your sense of decency is interpreted, at least by them, as weakness. They're thinking, I can make this work for me because you see, your niceness is going to fit in very nicely with my craving to be in control. Also, if they ever sense that you do struggle sometimes with anxiety or doubt, or sometimes you can be motivated by guilt, or you can have reactive anger to them, they're thinking, oh, I can definitely make that work on my behalf because that means that I'm winning and I'm in your head now. Now, it's really sad to think that narcissists see you as being a target, as someone that they can exploit. But if you understand that to be the case, there's something that you can do that's going to keep you in a balanced kind of way when they try to come at you with this. And that is, go back to those healthy characteristics and then more that you might want to add to that, and commit to them. Hold on to it. Remember, here on Team Healthy, we stand for dignity, respect, civility, and many more like the ones I just mentioned. Hold on to it. And then as you do hold on to it, cling to other self-protective kind of characteristics like your own decisiveness, your trust in yourself, your sense of discernment, your assertiveness, your sense of wisdom. In other words, all of these are words that we consider as part of your personal boundaries. And make sure that that too is a part of what you bring, because when the narcissist sees that and you holding on to your definitive belief in who you are and your willingness to stick with your healthy initiatives and not be drawn off course by their exploitive efforts, then that's your way of saying, I'm not into what you bring. I'm hoping that you can think the primary ingredient that I'm looking for as I have these healthy characteristics is reciprocity. Yes, I want to be somebody that stands for that, but I'm not going to be your target. If you want to join me in a true, genuine kind of way, I'm willing to flow with you. I'm into equality. But if you're looking for someone who's going to allow you to abuse me, I'm not playing that game. So I'm hoping that videos such as this can give you a good awareness of what you're dealing with. That's why I do this. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do so, because we're going to keep more videos towards you. Knowledge is power, and I'm hoping that you can interact with these individuals in a very knowledgeable kind of way. Sometimes when you're dealing with something like this, it's good for you to have the input of a therapist. You know, I've been sponsored for years by the people at BetterHelp.com. Actually, several million people now have taken them up on their services. It's very affordable. It's become very popular, a very popular way of engaging with a therapist. If the need is there, please go through the link that we have that's below the video. There'll be a few questions, and then there's a whole team of licensed professional therapists that you can select from. If the need is there, please get the help that you need, and keep yourself strengthened in that kind of way. Having that person in your corner can be immeasurable in terms of its benefit. In addition, in my retirement from my therapy practice, I've put together courses. And each course has at least 25 teaching videos, and each video has handouts that go along with it. They're very extensive and very clear, guided questions. We have my popular one, Anger Games, which is my newest one about how to stay out of their anger traps that they throw in front of you. We have This Is Me, about establishing those boundaries. We have This Is Me, about being yourself despite their control efforts. Ready, Set, Connect, about healthy connections. In addition, and we have links below the video on those. In addition, on my website, we have access to my webinars, which are 90-minute presentations on various topics, as well as access to my articles, my podcast, and then in addition to that, we have my book, so plenty of resources. Narcissists will target you. Narcissists want to exploit and use you, and you know what? That's their game, but you don't have to play along with that. Hold on to those healthy characteristics, balanced by your sense of firmness and your calm steadiness. And in doing so, you can send the message that says, I'm committed to my own peace. You don't have peace, you bring chaos, but I'm not into that. And I'm hoping you truly can be the alternative to their chaos. You can indeed be a person of peace.